Good morning, everybody. My name is Philippe Santraine, and my job within Samlink is that I actually help our bank customers plan and deploy enterprise AI solutions. Enterprise AI is very much about everything the bank does on a daily basis. You name it. And here I am talking to clerks, to bank officers, to compliance managers, to back office managers. Let's say the real people behind the bank, the ones that basically operate the bank on a daily basis. All right, so let's start with something funny. I guess this is very familiar to you. It's very familiar to me. With our family, we also have a cottage up north in Kainu. So, well, do you recall like a few years back, or for some others it was 2 years ago, for some others perhaps 3 years ago or more. And then, do you remember all these silly and whatever questions that we used to ask from ChatGPT? Hey, how many reindeers, please? I guess the answer is, we probably know or don't, but perhaps you remember how crazy ChatGPT went on this one. Not crazy. Let's say he was giving a response, right? That was perhaps more or less accurate. This has changed. We are not there anymore. Within Samlink, the last 2 years, we have tremendously progressed in the field of AI. Because we are on a very, very fast train, thanks to our mother company, thanks to our personnel, thanks to our management, just pushing us forward, embracing AI. And here I'm still talking about enterprise AI, right? So the tools for clerks, the tools for banking officers, the tools for mortgage officers, compliance officers, right? Because this is our business within Samlink. We have all these different components, lending platform and payment and account and authentication and PSD2 and reporting and what have you. So we do have on the shelf lots of different solutions, right? We can run a lot of different business processes that complement with the tools in place. Okay, so lots of different elements over here. But then you could tell, hey, Philippe, come on. You talk about Gen AI, AI agent, agentic agent, but please tell me, what is this really? How does this concretely, me as a bank officer, how is this going to change my world? How is this changing my world today? So hold on. In a few slides, we are heading there with a concrete example. But before getting there, I think there is still a need to demystify AI in banking, because one may still think that, oh, come on, we need to have all the data. All the data is not centralized, it's not available, we cannot run AI. Okay, let's see. Mainframes are so 80s. I like this sentence. So 80s. So, they're not adapted to most AI services. Everything should be in the cloud. Well, let's see. AI hallucinates. Well, let's see. Let's try to provide answers to all of this. So I disagree. Of course, one needs to have a good set of data, but what is data for AI today? AI is able to go through structured, unstructured documents, lots of sets of data, and it depends on the use case. You can have a very good, you can run an AI doing some KYC business process, just looking at an archive, for instance, on a daily basis. It works pretty well. We do have this. And all the others actually, like the mainframe, actually thinking about the current, let's say, political situation, I think it's an excellent combo to actually have mainframe solid, in the house and running AI services in the cloud. So we need to adapt. Everything is about the AI services, right? AI is too complex and too wild to govern itself. We will see about this on the example afterwards, and also from our friend Ziga here, how important that is actually to monitor, control, and set up some boundaries, right? You need to tell what the AI shall do, what the AI shall not do, right? It's important to set up the boundaries. The more boundaries, the better control, obviously. All right. That said, now let's go through a very simple example. So this was our promise to you. Let's explain how a Gen AI assistant will work. Another here, do you remember? Okay, I was talking about Kainu. Let's go a little bit more up north, somewhere there, in Oulu. And I'm the Oulu, I do represent the Oulu branch office over here. So I'm having my morning coffee, and I'm going to chat with one of our AI agents, James, over here. By the way, this is a virtual representation. It's not a demo. It's about for all of us to get the idea. But anyway, in real life, when you talk to agent, you talk like this. Agent, they speak just like you and me, and they understand just like you and me. So, hi, James, my dear mortgage Gen AI assistant. This is Philippe here. I'm from the Oulu branch office. I've got that mortgage application. I'm a bit confused here. I'm new. Can you tell me actually, what kind of documents shall be gathered? Then I just ask from James. You probably noticed a little Samlink t-shirt on the robot. Okay, so we have James over here. Sure. Well, so James is going to go through the whole bank instructions. How many pages? 200, policies, credits, compliance, very interesting stuff. And for this type of collateral and this type of application, that one over here, you need to gather all these documents. And that's it. Oh, by the way, housing certificate is missing. Okay. So back to me from Oulu. Okay. Oh, hold on. I have it here. It's in my laptop. I'm going to put this on the landing system. That's it. So now, please do the job. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Please do the job. And I will, of course, be there to control that everything is done in the end. So James goes through all the documentation. You've got, the sales brochure, the housing company certificate. You've got lots of stuff in there. The account statement. James is also able to pull via API whatever documentation from the credit registry, Bore, or then from Somena, Sakastieto. Well, you know this. So it's going to combine this, check all the data. It's going to check if the house really exists or the apartment. Is this a real address? Is the employer actually not in bankruptcy? Is this really a valid case, solid case? You say, hey, everything is fine. So there you go. In a nutshell, this is the summary. Those are the facts and the rationale behind. So basically, James is going to explain why the data, why the results. All right, this was a Gen AI case, right? By the way, we have this on the shelves at Samlink. Now let's go a little bit more complicated, but you will see. Actually, it's pretty straightforward. Again, here I'm from the old office. This time, this Monday morning, together with my morning coffee, I'm having 10 open applications today that I have to go through, quite complex ones. Then I'm asking for help. So I'm asking from Sophia. Sophia is a general mortgage orchestrator. Sophia is a boss agent. So there is a boss, and there are agents, and the agents are going to do different jobs. So Sophia said, okay, yeah, hold on. I'm going to handle this, no problem, and I'm going to ask help from several of my agents. There is Katri, takes care of the origination, dealing with the whole application process. And Paul, that deals with the KYC. And then asking, hey, Katri, can you please proceed in a line? So what I've highlighted here in yellow is actually the capabilities of agents and agentic. What does this mean? Proceed and align. The agents, they do have certain autonomy. So actually, Sophia is not telling to Katri, you have to do this and you have to do that. No. Katri, you know your job to do. You have certain workflow. Now you just do it. So there is a certain autonomy. And you talk to Paul. You guys manage together. That's fine. Then Katri replies, say, sure, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to check basically for these kind of collaterals and applications. James, by the way, has just done the work, our previous Gen AI, right? 5 documentation are missing, and I'm going to do something. That's another thing. AI agent has actually the power to act. It can actually email to a client, wait for the answers, and when it comes, understand it, reply, and so on. Okay? So meanwhile, Paul, can you check from our CRM KYC data is okay. So here we continue the conversation, right? So then Katri comes and said, hey, by the way, Sophia, I now got all the documents, everything is done. All of them have been checked again against our credit guide, and Paul has been doing a few KYC updates. That's fine. Then Sophia, the agent, then writes to me, back to the Oulu office, and said, okay, from all this application, this is what you should be considering. And by the way, you from Oulu, you decide what to do. You go on with your credit decisions, you do what to do, but this is the full report. And I am also sending this to our AI governance agent. Is this clearer? Perhaps, does this help to position a little bit more like Gen AI agents within an agentic framework? I hope it helps. We will see later on like a more concrete application of it from Ziga. But you know what? You're telling me, okay, that's fine. Wow, that's a nice PowerPoint. How do you do this? Come on, I'm a bank, right? I need to understand who's going to help me to put this together. So help me to understand who are the drivers within the bank or outside the bank. What are the disruptors? What's going to be the problem? And who is going to do the job? Who are the heroes? So this is a funny slide because we're supposed to talk about AI. There's nothing about AI here. Because the main drivers for the European banks always remain the same. Compliance first. The banks, they have a license. They have responsibility. They have audit to pass. That's the prime priority. Burning platform. Legacy platforms, some of them are there. Need to work with the vendor to stabilize, de-risk, and modernize thanks to AI. Cost reduction. The focus is on better productivity. That's why we also focus a lot on enterprise AI to help the operations running smoother, less risky, and so on and so on. So those are actually the main drivers for the European banks. So when we design an AI service, this is what we keep in mind. All our services, they are first driven by regulation. And the disruptor. So all along, before AI, of course, there's always been key disruptors like the market, the competitors, the regulation, that's fine. But agentic AI, this is like, it's tremendously impacting the bank. Why? Just one sentence. Because it changes, as we've seen on the example, how the decisions are made and how the actions are executed. And this at every layer of any organizations. So that's why it's not we believe, it's in here. We have to catch the train. And we are here, of course, to help. All right. And now I'd like to highlight a very important thing. Then you wonder, okay, who's going to do the job? Well, dear colleagues, dear audience, this is you. You are the new heroes. You are the new heroes. You need to drive this at any level, at any level of the bank. First of all, because you trust AI. Because within the way of working, when you're going to use your tools, right, you are going to orchestrate agents. You are going to be able to prompt, as Yuka said, that this is the new literacy. I mean, instead of doing PowerPoint, in 6 months from now, we'll spend perhaps as much time as prompting Copilot, right, or prompting, improving the way that our agent works, because we are the only one who knows the best. I mean, as a bank officer, that, okay, I'm going to improve this. But also you have demands, because you're a professional, right? So you want accuracy. You want rationale. You want records. You don't want hallucination. You want proof, right, that the AI service that you're asking, that the outcome is basically more than good or better than what it is today. And it helps you greatly, right? Of course, you're aware of the huge impact of agentic AI, so that basically also emphasizes the fact that, yes, there is lots of education to do within the company, within the enterprise, right? We talked about also integrating agent as part of our workflows and business processes. It's quite simple. When we think about the way that banks work, lots of tools, lots of different tools, very good tools, but sometimes the tools, they don't talk to each other. So there is a bit of always some manual work to do, error prone. And this is where it starts. So AI can actually, help to complement and enhance the business process before it will actually take over step by step the orchestration of all the business processes, right? So of course, as an agent, I know what works and what doesn't within our system and business processes. And that goes along with very much like the type of partnership that I'm going to speak after about, how actually the new heroes, you, the bank officers, the people working at the bank, how actually do you work with the vendors in order to make it work? Because it's a partnership, right? And of course, as highlighted also, the importance of being a role model, a leader, to show the example, to use AI, right? To guide and coach my teams to use AI daily. All right, let's have a sum up of all this. So we talked about basically a different type of AI, so Gen AI, AI agent, agentic AI. Also just wanted to tell once more that how do we work within Samlink Kyndryl. Actually, we do focus on very specific and acute problem of the day, driven by regulation, driven by the drivers that the bank, of course, has. So we focus on compliance, we focus on KYC, payment incidents, of course. I mean, this is IPR, instant payment regulations. Right now, it's deploying this. Like every bank in Europe right now, lending, mortgage, origination, restructuration, archive, reporting, and you name it, account. The way that we work is that we work very closely actually with business line managers. So in-house, we have lots of business line expertise. Obviously, actually, we do have like formal banking personnel working with us. They know exactly how a loan works, either that is for corporates or a mortgage for retail customers. So we align actually business managers together, business experts talk, and together with tech, basically define the right solutions. Of course, we work with our mother company, Kyndryl, that counts thousands of AI experts. Sarah will tell us a little bit more today, later on, about actually the massive force that we are lucky to have actually to work with, right? And in the end, I think we've been around for about 30 years, and we can say that we know banking. We always have something to learn, but we're learning every day with our customers. Right. And that's it for today. Thank you.